With Fallout Season 2 recently concluding with the release of Episode 8 and it opening up many different directions for the story arcs to go in when the show returns, whilst we await the news on Season 3, the foundations are already there to build upon. So with that, I wanted to take a look at all that was out there for the next season, the potential release date, and the stories that we could well see as well. Along with that, I also wanted to give my theories and predictions on what I think will happen, so let's get into it. Here is Fallout Season 3, Everything We Know and Theories. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The story. The story that we're set to get in Season 3 of the show is one that I think has the potential to be the strongest of them all. Whilst the Automated Man, Robert House, and Hank are at the center of this season, it now looks like the big bad boss, which is the Enclave, and also the Forced Evolutionary Virus, will be at the heart of the next one. With Phase 2 of the plan being initiated by Steph and not truly knowing what it means, it feels like the Vault Dwellers in Vaults 32 and Vault 33 are going to be the test subjects that the Enclave are going to be utilizing for their experiment when releasing the virus. It was said that the Forced Evolutionary Virus didn't interact well with radiation levels, and with the Dwellers having never really been exposed to it, this will allow the Enclave to see the virus in its optimum environment on subjects that fit the mold perfectly. These people are disposable to the Enclave. All the promises that were made 200 years ago don't actually matter that much. Take Hank thawing the people and then treating them as subjects for his Automated Man experiment. They never signed up to that, but they found themselves in a new world, just being treated as a number. And I feel we're going to see that exact approach being taken with the Vault Dwellers. The Mutant Man that we met in Season 2 was a prime example of that, and it also brought to light the mindset that the Enclave had. The moment they created these monsters, when it didn't go to plan, they tossed them to the side like Dr. Frankenstein did with his monster. The Vault Dwellers having the Forced Evolutionary Virus pushed upon them is actually going to give purpose to the Vault storyline this time round, which is something that I feel was lacking in Season 2 of the show. I was quite bored whenever they'd be on screen, but with the Vault's environment and the people within it changing into an unrecognizable state, it'll definitely make for some interesting viewing. I think this is also when Norm's story will then become intertwined and also feel like it has purpose, because he'll be the person that will actually know what's going on whilst chaos would be unfolding. They won't necessarily know that Steph has initiated the phase, but with Norm returning and knowing that it's connected to Vault-Tec, he might be the key to also finding out that Steph was cozying up to Hank and was playing along the entire time because she wanted to seek revenge on Vault-Tec and the Americans. The Enclave will also get a large focus in this season of the show because Cooper is going to be headed towards Colorado, and as we saw when Steph reached out to the Enclave and started Phase 2, when it cut to them, they were based in a mountainous snowy region, which to me, I interpreted as Colorado. So Cooper could well be coming face to face with the president again, and the very person that he believed was going to prevent the bombs from going off when he handed over the cold fusion, but instead, the opposite happened. The dynamic of the Enclave is something that I'm interested in and I can't wait to dive deeper into, because I do wonder if all of the people that are part of it are as ruthless as what the president was. Or I do wonder if there are some people there that are a part of it that have their morals tested and could potentially be swayed by the arrival of Cooper. As well as that, with Barb and Janie not being in their cryo chambers and there being a postcard for Colorado, it shows that she could have gone and sided with the Enclave because she believed that it was the right thing to do at that point. Or I do wonder if it's a trap and the Enclave put Barb and Janie with them in Colorado because they almost wanted to lure Cooper there with the hopes of reuniting with him again because they might have their own sinister plan for him. Cooper's humanity was brought back ever so slightly in this season of the show, and I think we're going to see Ghoul regaining even more of it as he morphs back into Cooper and becomes the hero again. As well as the story that's going to be going on with the Enclave and Cooper, I think the second main story that we'll see developing will be between Lucy, Max, and their involvement in the war that's going to be occurring in New Vegas and the Wasteland between the New California Republic and the Legion. Within the post-credits scene, we also saw that Quintus got Dane to hand over the blueprints for the Liberty Prime Alpha. Quintus also said that he was going to change from being Quintus the Unifier to Quintus the Destroyer. So this is something that I think will also get a focus when the show returns too. This will mean that the Brotherhood will be coming back into the story. With Quintus saying how he was going to become a destroyer instead of a unifier, it makes me think that instead of trying to bring the different factions together, he'll be leading with a more aggressive hand and taking out anybody that gets in his way. With this being focused around a war, I think this could bring Max back into the picture as well. One final thing that I want to touch on is the direction that Thaddeus is going to be going in as a character. With Thaddeus thinking that he's a ghoul when it's clear to see that he's definitely not. I reckon we're going to see him transforming into a centaur in this next season. They're considered to be disgusting mutant creatures that have fleshy, multiple limbs, multiple heads, and tentacles and are seen as abominations. So it does kind of fit the character. These are the main story arcs that I think we'll be getting in Season 3 of the show, but I imagine there will also be smaller stories that get picked up, such as the disappearance of Woody. The release date. Before we get into when Season 3 could actually be released, the biggest question that's on all of our minds is, will Season 3 actually be happening? Well, the good news is, when looking at the viewership records, it gained strong viewership throughout the course of the second season, and Season 2 actually became Amazon Prime Video's 6th most watched season of all time. That was after the first 4 episodes came out, and it also ranked number 4 for the most watched returning season of all time on the platform. This is a good sign for the show when it comes to a Season 3 being on the cards, and it is exactly that. Season 3 is most definitely going to be occurring, and with the show going into production on the 1st of May of this year, it shows that they're not waiting around by dragging out the gap between seasons. This is most likely the case because amongst audience members of TV series, the talk of TV show fatigue has become more prevalent, and with the likes of Stranger Things being a prime example of that in waiting 3.5 years between seasons. In a world where shows are now starting to bring to light the fact that they can actually make a new season within a year, like The Pitt and also most of Taylor Sheridan's shows, there's now become more of a growing demand for it, so Season 3 is definitely on the horizon. When it comes to the release date of Season 3, when looking at the gap between Season 1 and Season 2, there was around 1 year and 8 months. However, with it seeming like they're going to be going straight into production in only a couple of months' time, I think there's going to be a slightly smaller gap in time when compared to before. So this makes me think that we could end up getting this next season in a shorter period of time. The filming process took 7 months for Season 2, and there was also 7 months of post-production, so if we apply the same maths to this next season, that would mean that we could potentially expect to see Fallout Season 3 on our screens in the summer of 2027. So even though it's only shaving off a couple of months, it's still something. Then, when it comes to the release schedule, this is something that was drastically different in Season 2 when compared to Season 1, as they opted for a weekly release, rather than just sticking with the singular drop of every episode, which I actually think worked better for the show. Judging by the way that the show has become the 4th most watched returning show ever on the platform, and the ability to generate more buzz around it because it has a presence in everyone's home for 8 weeks, rather than just a couple, I think they'll most likely opt for the weekly release again. It makes sense to do so as there's more talkability that ends up surrounding it. The cast. When it comes to the cast, I think it's clear to see that most of the main cast and characters will definitely be returning, as all of their stories were left quite open. This would mean that we'd see Lucy, Ghoul, Barb, Janie, Hank, Robert House, Max, Thaddeus, Quintus, Dane, Steph, Norm, Claudia, Chet, Betty, and the Vault Dwellers all returning. I also think as well as that, we'll see more of the Enclave and the President of the United States, which was played by Clancy Brown. Alongside that, I think we'll most likely see a wide array of new cast members that will make up the Enclave and serve as the eyes that are apparently everywhere throughout New Vegas. For now, that's all that's really known about Fallout Season 3. I'm sure more information will be released as we get ever closer to the release date, which is looking like it could be the summer of next year. So let's just keep on theorizing. So, there you have it, Fallout Season 3, everything we know and theories explained. If you want to see episodes of Fallout Season 2 being broken down, then check the playlist below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. What do you think will happen next? Share your thoughts in the comments. As always, thanks for tuning into the video and I'll see you in the next one.